Hello, this is your first time, please subscribe to your channel.
Shokufe Habibzadeh. Last night, with the departure of the last American military plane from Afghanistan, a day earlier than promised on August 31, the Taliban celebrated their domination over Afghanistan. The rule that Zabihullah Mujahid, the spokesman of the Taliban, called it the victory of the Afghan people. Today, John Kirby, the spokesman of the U.S. Department of Defense, announced that the war in Afghanistan is over and that no other U.S. forces are present in the country, and that there is no military role for the U.S. in Afghanistan to evacuate the remaining U.S. citizens. According to him, all the military equipment left at the Kabul airport is unusable. Although polls in America showed that most of the people support America's withdrawal from Afghanistan, the disgraceful and disastrous withdrawal of America from Afghanistan did not have many defenders in America. Trump, Biden's staunch rival, also considered this withdrawal more scandalous than America's withdrawal from Vietnam and referred to it as a great scandal in American history. A claim which, of course, was not dissimilar to other criticisms against Biden. This is the second time that America has attacked a country and left it. Vietnam and now Afghanistan, although they do not have the same fate, but both of them clearly question America's claim of humanitarianism. On the other hand, some analysts consider America's withdrawal from Afghanistan to be mandatory and some analysts consider it optional. According to the Costs of War Institute, the United States has spent $2.26 trillion on the war in Afghanistan over the past 20 years. Which had raised the voice of many politicians of this country, and it was said that America must leave this country. However, the presence of less than 2,500 American forces would not impose much cost on America. In addition, NATO forces also accompanied America in this presence. But a group on the other hand believes that the U.S. could have stayed in South Korea as it had for almost half a century, until real democracy was achieved to some extent, and not that it could not change the cultural infrastructure in a short span of 20 years and by manipulating it, mobilize extremist groups to completely reject democracy. Some say that this action may be the future of Iraq, and it should be seen how the fate of this neighboring country will be determined by the U.S. In this report, we have a look at the effects and consequences of America's withdrawal from Afghanistan, which forced the world to take serious reactions against this humanitarian disaster. The first act, homelessness, deprivation of the trust of the Afghan people from America. The people of Afghanistan, who had tasted the 5-year rule of the Taliban 20 years ago, were able to see the other side of life to some extent with the presence of the United States in this country and the suppression of the Taliban and extremist groups. Concepts of democracy such as freedom, in various formats such as hijab, girls' education, music, media, etc., were created following these changes, and of course the formation of an inefficient modern bureaucracy that the Taliban was able to use. And to use it, international and educated cooperation is needed. Although many analysts who were either present in Afghanistan or continuously monitored its events, believe that in these 20 years, contrary to what appeared in the media, only a few big cities and the centers of some small cities witnessed these developments, and more 70% of the population, who are often present in remote villages, have not benefited from this modernity. Even Kabul does not have electricity 24 hours a day, and there is no piped drinking water in parts of this capital. However, the role of communication and media should not be ignored. With the expansion of communication, even the villages became more aware than before, and this caused them to feel the bitter taste of discrimination and class conflict with the cities of Afghanistan, the region and the world. Although most of the educated Afghan people left Afghanistan before the presence of the Taliban and mostly after their rule, this awareness was not limited to the educated classes, and it is not an issue that the Taliban will ignore and will definitely challenge them in the future. With the withdrawal of the United States from Afghanistan, which was formed as a result of their agreement with the Taliban at the Doha summit, this bubble suddenly burst, and the Afghan people, who did not imagine that the world, especially the United States, would turn their backs like this, felt helpless. The film of the departure of the first American military plane and the fall of 3 people from it, as well as the continuous presence of people after this incident at the Kabul airport, which had become the symbol of the last bastion of freedom, is proof of this claim. Shokufe Habibzadeh. Last night, with the departure of the last American military plane from Afghanistan,
Thank you for your support.